This week we got something declared finally in DC history.
I mean, it really is something. It should have happened. It should have happened when the Godfather of Go-Go was still with us,
Absolutely.
because like, who better to have ushered it in than Chuck Brown himself? But after like a whole battle with some shitty gentrifying ass motherfuckers trying to
mute
tell
DC.
people how to fucking live their lives
On the other side of Florida Avenue.
Shea
y'all
Hood
had to
condos.
go and y'all had to whack the hornet's nest and get stung. DC's finally made Go-Go the official music of the city that is still chocolate despite
that's
efforts
white.
to turn it non.
I always thought that it wasn't necessarily necessary because it's DC and it's Go-Go. Like, I didn't think this had to be like a thing.
No,
You know what I
some
mean?
people need to be told.
Nobody really was like, oh, like DC has to, we have to really
So-
announce or whatever. But the fact that like these motherfuckers acted up that wide.
So in
Right.
case you've
You
been
know.
living under a rock, Go-Go is the indigenous music of DC. Born and raised here, made famous by Chuck Brown, rest in peace.
Yes.
Popularized
DC
by bands like bands like Rare Essence and Experience Unlimited, DC Scorpio, and
UCB.
the Huckabucks, Backyard Band.
Garbage Band.
Preach,
Yeah,
baby.
so we
Preach
could
it.
go.
Backyard Band, sorry, damn it, that's
We
a
go.
shot.
We go on and on and on. Yeah, it was really just So, anyways, according to WAMU, 88.5.com, Muriel Bowser, who I got a big bone to pick with, signed
Yes.
legislation to that effect on this past Wednesday. The afternoon bill signing happened at the Culture House DC, formerly Blind Wino. Included a free concert featuring DJ Super Dan and the Backyard Band. Because,
Why not?
I mean, dude, Backyard Band is like legit currently.
They're hot.
They are the fucking flag bearers of Go-Go, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
No disrespect to any other band out there
But
beating
they're
buckets.
in the front. They're leading.
They are
charge.
they are the fucking tip of the fucking spear, as far as I'm concerned.
So people are wondering why. Well, like you were saying, well, this has always been a thing. Like it's always been an official music of DC. Why do we need to do this now? And part of it is by having the mayor's office declare and sign Go-Go as the official music of DC. Now there have to be programs that are implemented by the mayor's office
Yes,
to support, preserve, and archive Go-Go music into history, and I think that that's important because, among people in DC, it was always just the understood. Like, Go-Go is like DC music,
And so the site continues with saying Wednesday's signing and celebration follow nearly a year's worth of activism around Go-Go that began last April when the owner of a Metro PCS store in Shaw was forced to stop playing loud Go-Go music from speakers outside his store. Music fans and anti-gentrification activists quickly rallied around the store and organized a series of outdoor concerts and protests using the hashtag #Don'tMuteDC. Ward 5 council member Kenyon McDuffie was the one who introduced the legislation in June. And the nationally televised BET Awards kicked off with a tribute to Go-Go
Oh, no
and
shit.
hashtag #Don'tMuteDC. Oh, yeah.
That's
we
fucking
were.
awesome.
I mean,
DC
it's a
was
big
in
deal.
fuego for a minute, dude. Like,
BET
I don't
is
even,
here.
I don't even
This-
watch Black Evil television no more, and I was fucking loving that shit.
the person that called in and complained about Metro PCS had no
No
idea,
idea.
No idea what they were
the
doing.
landmine
The
that they were
shitstorm.
stepping on.
It was
Yeah.
a complete shit.
Like I said, you whacked a hornet's nest, bro, and they just came.
I mean, they did not realize
Bama's got stung.
how DC comes together.
Bama got.
you
I mean,
know?
like we're already
they do.
surrounded by buildings. We're already surrounded by high rises that none of us can afford to live in.
Right.
Yeah, no shit.
We are fighting tooth and nail to
We also have
preserve.
buildings that still have like damage
culture.
from riots.
Yeah.
That's the other
Yeah.
thing. You got the high rises and you got the damage from riots, like right next to each other all the time.
So yeah, shout out to Kenyon McDuffie. If you are within the sound of this podcast and you are not familiar with Go-Go music, I highly encourage you to Google, go down the YouTube rabbit hole, play it loud, preferably in a residential neighborhood that's never heard this shit before, and get your fucking groove on. Shake what your mama
Hello.
gave you.
Yes, and shout out to Councilmember McDuffie because
Yes,
he was
thank
really
you. Thank you, sir.
just spearheaded that whole movement and to get that passed through the council and through the mayor's office. So great job.